Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to have you all here. And let's just do a little bit of the thing we normally do, talk a little bit about meditation, and then check it out in practice afterwards. Last night I spoke here about the kind of absence of free will in the Buddhist teachings. And all of these ideas in Buddhism, all of these things that we can call right view, the way of looking at the world, which accords with how the Buddha taught things, all of these things inform every aspect of the path, also how we do the meditation practice. And the idea of if there is no free will, then it's almost like the will that we have is blind. It is not free. It is not. It just comes from the past, cause and conditions, our history, our family, our past lives, whatever it is. And so it has a kind of blindness to it. It doesn't really know what it is doing. So instead of allowing the sense of self, and that sense of self that we have is that is also kind of driven by the past in exactly the same way, this will. And so what we do, instead of following that sense of self, which is blind and ignorant, we try to follow the Dhamma. And this is really what we want to do in meditation. And very often that Dhamma is kind of there. It's sort of behind the scenes. We know what it is. We know what we have to do. We know that the mind should not be indulging in ill will. They shouldn't be indulging in desires and all these kind of things in meditation. We know that this won't work. And we also know some of the tools to overcome that. We forgive the past. We let go of the future. We don't take an interest in the world because the world actually isn't all that interesting, etc., etc. So the tools are kind of there in the mind. So when we meditate, instead of consciously using those tools, instead of using it, if you like, through the ego, through the sense of self, I am going to sort it out, I will fix up the mind, do this, do that. Very often it's much more productive to kind of just wait, to be patient, and kind of almost like you're feeling your way through the meditation. If you ask yourself, in a deep sense, if you feel, what should I be doing now? You know very often what you should be doing next. The mind will almost naturally lean in the right direction. So instead of you being a kind of an agent in your meditation, instead of you taking charge of your meditation, you become this passive observer in a profound way, whereby not only do you just observe, but you also know how to lean your mind, to direct the mind in the right direction, away from the problems, towards the peace, by always kind of staying in the present, allowing the Dhamma to guide you. The Dhamma becomes your guide, rather than the ego, rather than the sense of self. And this becomes a very peaceful and beautiful way of meditating. It's as if you're accessing a deeper layer of wisdom that is inside of you. It is all the traces of the Dhamma, all the sutta readings, all the understanding of meditation that you have acquired over the years. Some of you over the, some of us, I should say, not some of you, some of us, over the decades, and they come out and they inform the meditation at the right time and right place. And in this way, we just sit back, we wait, we listen to what we should be doing next, and then kind of the mind almost moves by itself in the right direction, towards peace, towards joy, towards all these positive things on the path, because that tends to be the nature of the mind. The mind wants to be peaceful, the mind wants to be happy. This is just how our 5 khandhas are put together. It is not something that we need to do at all. Try to think of meditation as just as more like a listening exercise, because listening is very similar to the idea of being passive and just observing. We listen to what is going on, we understand what is going on, and we allow the kind of the wisdom and these things to come through that to guide us in the right kind of way. So the purpose of all of these ways of thinking about the path is to do less, to learn to be content, to learn to be patient in the practice. This is kind of the ideas behind these things. And then the meditation maybe can become a little bit more attractive and beautiful as a consequence. So let's try some of these ideas in our meditation and see how we go. All right. Okay, so when you start out with this idea of just listening and being aware, you find that initially you just need to usually calm down a little bit, just to allow things to be, and just to allow things to settle. The mind initially is often a bit agitated and restless, and that initial agitation needs to settle down. And then there are maybe the troubles of the body, and again, just by settling down, some of these also disappear all by themselves. So you start off in this way by just feeling and listening in, and then allowing things to move in the right direction according to what the problem might be. And as you start to calm down a little bit, the bodily restlessness or whatever sort of fades away, and new problems often tend to arise. And one of the kind of very common issues that you will just experience as you go through this is, of course, the mind that is restless, the mind that is thinking, the mind that is doing all sorts of things. And if you just, again, incline to the Dhamma will tell you that the way out of this is just to very gently stay with the breath. And as you stay with the breath, you feel the silkiness, the smoothness of the breath, the calming effect of it, and allow it to calm you down. See the beauty in the breath. see the attractiveness of the breath. If, on the other hand, you feel the mind is a bit tired and lacking in energy, then you know how to sharpen up the mind. You know how to reflect on the gratitude for being able to be here. You know how to have a bit of metta and compassion for everyone who is here. And in this way, brightening up the mind, coming out of that tiredness and lethargy that might be there. So follow these instructions that you know. Allow them to arise in the mind naturally, knowing what they are, almost as if the solution comes by itself, and then the mind directs itself going in the right way. So just, if you can, just carry on in this way, listening to yourself, listening to the mind, listening to the meditation. And it's almost as if the breath is like the backdrop. The breath is always there in a sense. And then as things arise during the meditation, it's as if, because you are observing and listening, the mind takes the appropriate corrective. So when you start to get involved with thinking, the mind just gently leads you back. You don't do it. Allow it to happen by itself. When you see some unskillful ideas arising, the mind knows how to overcome them. When you see that you require a bit more joy and happiness, the mind inclines you towards the right qualities. And so you just observe. You just are listening in. You're just part of this journey, allowing the mind and the Dhamma to steer this path forward. Okay, so coming close to the end, not quite there yet. As always, I recommend just spending a minute maybe just to review the meditation. And especially if you do feel more peaceful, at ease, or joyous, or whatever it might be, ask yourself why that is the case. How does this process work? Okay, everyone, so that is the meditation for today. So if there are any questions, now is the chance. Anyone like to say anything? Everyone quiet? Okay. We'll take some questions from outside then, if no one here has anything to say. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have a couple of questions here. The first one is from Germany. Dear Ajahn, if I have a problem, body or mind, and there is nobody to ask for help, what do I do to meditate right? So what you do is you follow the advice of the Buddha. Yeah, the Buddha is always there. The suttas are always available. There are always meditation manuals of various kinds. And so you kind of you try to use those as a way forward. And the general principles are very simple. Yeah, the simple is just to be present. You know the sutta on the breath meditation, you follow that. And of course the sutta of the breath meditation, it starts with establishing mindfulness. So you always start with establishing mindfulness first of all, which basically means to relax to the max, maybe. Ajahn Brahm's one of his favorite sentences, and it's a nice sentence, because that's kind of what it is about, feeling that ease, feeling the comfort, the lack of burden. That's very much what it is about. So just learn to relax, learn to just to be, learn to sit back and enjoy the ride, learn to be a passenger in your life rather than the driver. And all of these things are really nice similes for how the path of meditation works. So learn these things, learn a little bit about how to overcome defilements, ill will, etc. And all the tools are there. You have them in your toolkit. Not that many tools you need to be able to make meditation work. The main problem is very often to develop the mind enough through the daily life so that you are ready when you come down to sit on the cushion. That is maybe one of the most important things that I think it's hard to really take that far enough sometimes, but we need to put a lot of effort into that. So that's kind of what I recommend. Otherwise, you can come here on Saturday nights and you can ask questions, like you're doing now, and that hopefully will get you somewhere. Okay, question number 2. Hello, Ajahn. Do we need to sort out some external problems sometimes so that meditation works? Under what understanding can we just let go completely of our external world so that meditation can take off? Well, the thing is that, letting go of the external world is only temporary anyway. You do that for, the half an hour of meditate. It's not like it goes forever. So you just have to trust that if you let go for a while, it will still be there when you get back, and guaranteed it will be there. Unfortunately, it will still be there when you get back again afterwards. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. So you just let go, and you know it's going to be there anyway. So you don't need to control the external world during meditation. In fact, the opposite is true. If you want to find solutions, if you want to find answers to problems, and you can't find them by thinking about it or reflecting or analyzing, and very often you can't, then actually the solution often emerges when the mind becomes peaceful. That is when kind of intuition becomes powerful, because the hindrances and the distortion of the minds go down. When the distortions of the mind go down, then clarity often arises as a consequence. And so meditation is often the path to finding solutions to those external problems. So let them go for a while there. One of the things that I kind of sometimes think in my meditation is that the external world is just endless. It just goes on and on. There's always more problems. I solve this one, there's going to be another problem around the corner anyway. Why on earth would I want to solve another problem in my meditation? I'm doing that all day long anyway. Let me now, at least for once, not solve problems. Yeah, that's kind of what really it is like. And so understand this in the right way. And then you are kind of on the right track. So let those external problems, put them to one side. If the problems are of a sort that it leads to a lot of defilements, like ill will or whatever, then you need to forgive, and you need to have compassion and understanding, etc., etc. And as you do that, that problem will also be resolved through those kind of attitudes. So it depends a little bit on what the problem is, how to resolve it. But these are kind of some of the tricks. It is hard to do. And one of the reasons why it is hard to do is because we make the external world important. It matters to us. This is what our life really is about. That's how we see it. And because that is what life is about, you're going to think about it. We have an interest in those things that we value. You value external life. You're going to think about that. So you need to take away some of the value in the external life, and you need to increase the value of the inner life, the inner experiences, the meditation, the mental stuff. That is where the value really should be. And as you value the right thing, the mind will incline towards those things that you value. That will be your priority, because that's what's important to you. So make the spiritual path the priority. Make that what is valuable. Reduce the value of the external world. And if you really value the spiritual path, then breath meditation becomes really easy, because you know that's the path. That's the way forward. All this other stuff actually is just endless, and then mind just shifts by itself because of that. So this is kind of, you have to play with your perceptions a little bit. You have to know how to develop your perceptions in the right way, so you value the right thing. And when you value the right thing, the mind will lean towards that which it values. And this is why we often think about the things that are useless, etc. Okay. So that is it for now. So let's just pay respect to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha.